purposes. So yeah.
So what is your background then? I mean, you're a gamer. So what made you take that final step into saying, you know what, no one else is empowering gamers in the gaming community.
Right.
I want to do this.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. It's a great thing that I actually started this business because I have a younger brother. That's hardcore.
Have I ever started a business because I have a younger? I do have a younger brother, but I don't know if I'd started.
It's funny how you start businesses. It's like friends or family, right? So he's a hardcore MMO gamer, and I saw him playing World of Warcraft and all these like free-to-play online games, and I'm like, wow, you spend a lot of time in these games.
They do.
And you guys spend a lot of money.
And their systems are crazy.
And the thing is, but they have the communities inside these virtual MMO worlds, right? So why don't I create something that's web-based? That you can just like go on like a MySpace. So you can socialize, recruit guild members, share your gaming experiences, download games, and read about the latest news, right? So that's.
So you created a company to help your brother make friends.
Yes. Yes. And help millions of other gamers make friends too.
Exactly, but it is a true point.
Yes.
Because it's to recruit new members. It's to find people that are just as much into the same games as you. I mean, it's all the reasons why people create social networks and whatnot around other verticals. Right.
So and also like with the popularity of Facebook, it also made us reevaluate our business model. Yeah. Because with them out there, it's kind of really hard to compete with them. Yeah. Like what happened to MySpace, right? So that's why we did the whole portal approach as well too.
What are people mainly using the site for? Is it for recruiting, new guild members? Is it, are a lot of people reading the news? Are a lot of people downloading the games? Is it a mix?
It's really three different activities. One is to download the latest game. Yep. Or beta keys, right?
Okay.
We have access to
beta keys are really popular.
Those are very popular, right? Recruiting new guild members or other players, and just like promoting their experiences inside the game.
Okay. Yeah. What's traffic like these days?
Traffic like these days are average anywhere from 1.5 million to 2 million monthly visitors.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's been sustainable since then. So. Yeah.
Would you say that there's going to be or is a convergence happening between gaming and home entertainment?
Oh, absolutely.
What are your thoughts around that? I saw some of that even at CES.
They're all very synonymous with each other anyways. Home entertainment regarding music, right? Movies. It's already happening actually.
Yeah, it is.
Connect with Xbox 360, where you can control things and play games and watch music and movies, listen to music and movies. So
it doesn't really matter where your content's coming from. You
doesn't matter.
Do what you want when you want it.
Yeah, because hardware, in terms of hardware technology and games, and the software side of things are starting to match up. We're at a good time right now. Like we should appreciate where we're at right now. Everything's like really happening together at once. Yeah. It's an exciting time for all of us. Yeah.
We've covered cloud, the convergence of these two things. Let's get a little bit. What about virtual worlds these days? I don't really hear talk about virtual worlds. And just as a side note, I actually worked with Linden Lab and Second Life back in 2007 when it was hot.
Right.
I worked at Lewis PR at the time, and I got to go to Linden Lab, and apparently it was such a huge deal to go in, and it was like this spiritual experience almost, and people were really into it. And we would do virtual tours with people in World and teach them how to fly and put clothes on so they weren't naked and all this other stuff. And it was huge then, and there was all this promise of, currency and owning virtual land, and people were really getting into it, and the numbers were just skyrocketing. Then stuff happened with virtual currency, and then everything just sort of plummeted. So what is your take on what happened with that? Are virtual worlds yesterday's news? What's the deal?
Virtual worlds are it's an industry that was quite had a lot of attention and more attention than I think it needed.
Okay.
Just because it was easy to understand versus MMOs, right? I mean, the only thing we really could have covered back then was World of Warcraft. It was an American-based company, but if you look at it right now, there's only like 3 or well, I'd say 4 to 5 big players in virtual worlds.
Yep.
There's Second Life, right? There's Entropia Universe. Yep. There's IMVU. My friend, he's the CEO of that company. There's Have a Hotel.
Right.
And there's a couple other ones, but if you look beyond that, there's really no one else that's really still around in the virtual worlds environment. Just because the interactions, like, and I've played virtual worlds before, is it's not as how I say content-based heavy.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the compulsion loops, right? And a lot of the friends that you make in these virtual worlds are strangers.
Right.
So that's a barrier to entry of,
yeah, people are always bumping into me and then
to
talking
attach to that
me.
environment. Yeah. And you're like, what's going on? Why is that naked guy flying around? That's kind of weird, right? Whereas you play in,
although it was kind of fun to go in world with my developer friend who knew how to make this crazy bubble thing that would go places it shouldn't and all sorts of stuff.
Right, and the thing is also with virtual worlds that
there was the stuff with gray goo. Do you remember that?
Yes, gray goo. yes. Also, the thing with
I wasn't involved with that.
Also, real estate has been a big thing in virtual worlds as well too. And
well, the government got involved with that. That's what I wanted to address too.
Yeah. So, if you really compare the content that's provided in virtual worlds and the type of people that are there, familiar people in there, versus what you see in World of Warcraft or like a Farmville or Mafia Wars, it's complete ball game.
Yeah, exactly.
And even with these virtual worlds, they're changing their business models to become more avatar-based and content-based friendly.
Right.
They're trying to add mini games now, flash-based games in the world to make it more sticky. To be able to compete with the social games and the MMOs out there.
Okay, all right. Well, let's step into a little bit more with augmented reality. TechZulu, we've talked with a few different companies that are really on the cutting edge of AR that have launched at like different conferences and whatnot. We don't need to name all of them here. But it seems like, there's the stuff with personal electronic devices. That's really what makes the most sense for the individual. And then there's the projected content as well, which I don't get, because why would I project a little dancing person on a wall that's going to follow a line, or and people are walking by and looking at what I'm doing, and I don't want to make a show out of what I'm doing with AR. So
well, the thing with AR is that it can be inclusive or exclusive, right? It could be local or out of that area. So
it would be good for events or things like that.
Yes, that would be more good for presentation of events. But the true application of immersive tech or augmented realities for the individual experience of the user.
Right.
They want to be, like, for example, if I put on shades that were powered by AR, I would be at Burning Man right now, probably. Reliving it every day.
That's going to happen. That will definitely happen.
And looking at the and with where technology stands in terms of visual graphics, we're pretty much up there right now. So it'll be only a couple years before sensory, smelling things.
I was going to say, what do you think is going to happen first? Because with any new technology like this that's so mind-blowing, really, I mean, you've got to start on a basic level for consumers.
Right.
So what are you seeing now as it relates to that introductory curve, adoption curve?
The easiest way to really, for immersive tech or augmented reality to gain mass adoption is to go through games first.
Okay.
Sony PlayStation's already doing it right now with Invisimals, where you use the PSP, and it has a camera attached. And it looks at a marker on the table, for example, and you can see through the screen your mini creature, and you can interact with it.
I'm really curious, too, about what will happen in terms of like your mobile device and being able to hold it up and see, almost like holograms of deals and things as you're walking down a boardwalk.
Yes.
That kind of application.
Yeah, I think that's the next transition, actually, is mobile technologies improve, and the U.S. adopts better phones. I think that's what we're going to be seeing next, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, you are specifically with MMOs, focus on MMOs. What do gamers want? What's popular with them right now? What's hot? What are some of the new games that people are really latching on to?
Right.
What makes that experience fulfilling?
Okay, so there's many different kinds of online gamers or MMO players. Primarily they're all hardcore based, right?
Right.
They're in it for celebrity status or gratification. And
so more the role-playing games?
Yeah, more role-playing games. And a way to get there is to either buy virtual items or earn them over time. Because they give you a competitive advantage, or they can be used for vanity purposes. So in the MMO space, virtual goods or virtual items have the highest probably value in that environment. Yes.
Now, is that part of your business model then?
Our business model is to really keep the users and the players aware of what's going on with the industry. Here's the newest game. Check it out. Play it. If you like it, give it a rating or a comment. Come back for beta keys, virtual items. We give out virtual items as well, so which has proved to be very successful for us. So just think of it as, these players being in an environment that they believe that is their own world, you know?
Yeah.
It's, for us, it might kind of be unusual, like why would you believe that to be real? But for them, they spend so much time invested that it is their world.
How much time in general do people that are really into MMOs?
You know,
like your brother. Let's go back to your brother.
I'll even use my personal story.
Yeah.
I actually got addicted to one of the games, actually.
Which one?
It was a Silk Road Online. I would play for a period of 6 months, anywhere from 5 to 6, 7 hours a day.
And then go to the gym.
No, I didn't go to the gym during that period, actually. I actually went out of shape. And spent on average $500,000 a month in virtual goods.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So it really
I'm not, and I wasn't that hardcore, actually.
Yeah.
And for me, I call it
okay,
market
well
research.
Then who is hardcore? Tell me. Like
hardcore examples are a lot of players in China. They played for 24 hours, 48 hours nonstop in World of Warcraft. That the government has actually created clinics.
Really?
Addiction clinics for World of Warcraft players.
No way.
Yes.
Just like someone can be addicted to poker or someone can be addicted to certain substances, they can literally be addicted to World of Warcraft.
Yes, yes.
Wow. I had to do it.
Yes.